guys, and welcome to the Shifty Crab News Break. I'm your host today, Adam, and I am joined by, I say it every time, the best beard in the business, Mr. Vince Haley. How you doing, Vince?
Doing lovely. Excited for another Sunday Funday news.
Sunday Funday news. You know, it's little on the news, heavy on the fun. That's how I see the Sunday Funday.
I mean, that's a perfect way to kick off a week with some little Sunday Funday. You all nice, relaxed.
Exactly. And it's kind of like the parents are away, you know, Terry's not on the news today, so we can, you know, just have a bit of fun. And then he'll watch this and shout at us for not doing enough news, I'm sure. But anyway, today we're going to carry on our theme of doing upbeat and high energy news by talking about why there's not going to be many games released this year and a few cancellations and then a bit of legal issues coming from Frogware, which is really interesting from the Sinking City game. And then obviously we have the Sunday Funday challenge for you today, Vince. And it's a good one. It's a lot shorter than last week, but you'll either get all of it or none of it. So we shall see.
Oh, yikes.
But let's get into that news straight away. This is from gamesindustry.biz, and it's been written by Brendan Sinclair. And it says 2021. Why did I say that way? Why did I say 2021? It's been a long day. I guess it's a
proper way to do it, but
in 2021, in 2021 could be a thin year for new games. As developers enter the second year of working from home, mounting AAA delays suggest blockbusters could be fewer and further between. And it says here, while COVID-19 was formally identified at the end of 2019, the enormity of the situation didn't hit home for many of us in gaming until it caused the postponement of the Game Developers Conference, GDC. This weekend marks the one-year anniversary of the postponement, and while we're not actually through the pandemic, we have a much better idea of the impact on the industry than we did initially. In some ways, gaming has actually benefited from the pandemic, with people turning to games as an option like going outside and doing things were taken off the table by regional lockdowns. Many publishers have also reported a surge in engagement for live service titles and increased catalog sales. That's particularly fortunate because it looks like the flow of new games, particularly on the AAA front, is going to be uneven for a while. It goes on and it talks about some of the big games that have actually released during this, but it talks about the plethora of delays that have become the norm, really. I don't want to go too deep into this because we've spoke about it before, but Vince, are you surprised by this really coming out and an article saying, oh, there's not going to be as many AAA games this year as a normal year?
Honestly, no, mostly because last week or the past 2 weeks, we had a Sony State of Play and Nintendo Direct that was very much bare bones. Like the biggest thing that came out of the Sony was Sifu and the Final Fantasy VII DLC upgrade, which is not great when you're talking about like Q1 for a big like console release. So it's a little scary, but then again, not surprising because we are definitely going to see these delays continue to happen as, you know, COVID is still a thing. It's very hard to ramp up production, especially like a final production on anything while anybody's working remote right now.
Oh yeah,
we're going to see this struggle for maybe well into next year as well. So it's kind of scary.
Yeah, there's even when we do see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to the pandemic and COVID itself, there's going to be a severe hangover from this while people play catch up. And we've seen that with a lot of cancellations going forward as well. And I think it's been more paramount when we look at people like we did it ourselves, predicting the year, what was going to get released, and a lot of and what's going to happen in gaming. And a lot of our predictions were things were going to get moved or delayed. And it was more of a shock prediction if you turn around and said, oh, it will get released this year. Most people expecting, like myself, I said to you that I don't think Halo would release this year. Now I'm probably going to be wrong on that, and I think it might be one of the ones that maybe does. But you look at God of War, there's a very, very slim chance that that's going to make it to this year. Probably not going to happen. Not seeing Horizon at the PlayStation State of Play sprinkles a little doubt. Is that going to make it this year? It should, because it's running on the same engine. So they have a lot of the bases there, but
there's
still a doubt.
There.
Yeah, there's still a doubt.
We didn't see a whole lot. We saw that, CG trailer when it was first announced. And I was excited to hopefully see more of it. But since we didn't, I've got to think that game's maybe early 2022. Maybe.
Yeah, which is a big worry for PlayStation. If you're looking at this from a PlayStation point of view, God of War and Horizon are probably your big games for the year. Ratchet and Clank's a big game, but it's not up there top tier, I wouldn't say. It'll sell well, and it's a great. It looks like it's going to be a great game. But God of War and Horizon are what PlayStation were hanging their hat on in terms of returning IPs for the new launch, and they're both in a doubt for the first. The first full year from November to November. And then if you look over at Xbox, Halo, they're hanging a lot of pressure on. Everything's hanging on Halo, and there isn't much else in terms of potential big releases that can make it like this year. So it is a barren landscape. It's understandable, though. I think this is the way that gaming, we've been spoiled for a long time. With big budget AAA games every month, basically.
It's one of those things, like, we were in Walmart a couple days ago, and I walked by like the electronics section looking at like how very few movies came out last year. I made the comment to my wife, like, it's so strange just like walking by that section and seeing just about nothing. Like, and it's going to be like that for movies and games for a while. I mean, it's hopeful that like you got streaming services for movies and stuff, which is exciting that HBO is doing their thing. But when you have other corporations banging on this, like wanting to be out in theaters, it's just, there's no way. So like, even the game side of that, it's going to be a very dry year again.
Definitely. And you did see it with, obviously, a lot of movies have come out. And I know Spider-Man had their official announcement last week, and it said only in theaters. Christmas, winter, was it December? I think it was Christmas. Man, and it's just, that's not the hill to die on.
No.
Put it on a streaming service. You've got Disney for a reason. Like,
exactly.
I know it's Sony rights, and that's why Spider-Man's not on there currently. But work something out with Disney. Yeah, work something out with Disney and get it on a streaming service or Netflix or wherever it. I don't know where Sony films go.
I've seen a few services. Like, especially
Spider-Man, I think, is on Sky for England, and
I've seen like HBO and Amazon.
Yeah, they always have them, so they've got to be able to put it somewhere. It's just, I suppose, they're getting their money back, and I don't mind. Like, I had a membership for the cinema in the UK, so I paid monthly and I could just go as much as I wanted, which was great. Cool. Obviously, this is pre-COVID times, but I'd pay for a film to watch it on demand if it was a film that I really wanted to watch. Like, if they released Black Widow tomorrow, I'd pay like £10 and watch Black Widow. It's just like going to the cinema.
Oh yeah.
Like,
but probably a far better experience, to be honest.
Exactly, because I actually hate the cinema because I hate hearing people talk and eat, and it's never comfortable. It is what it is. But anyway, so gaming is following the same path, and we've been looking at a lot of games have been released. It's just not that many AAA games have been released. Cyberpunk obviously held a lot of the anticipation last year, and it just obviously fell very flat. And then you come into this year, and it's going to be a different landscape for a while. And I think it is what it is. like if we move on to the next story, it actually links in quite well. Sega release slate actually for the fiscal year was cut in half because of COVID. So the Japanese firm, this is over at gamesindustry.biz again from Matthew Handaran. It's a Sega release slate was cut almost in half by COVID-19 disruption. The Japanese firm forecast 30 new releases this fiscal year in August, but now it only expects 18 to be released. So yeah, like you can go in and read this. I'm only just coming in with a headline there, but it's actually a really interesting article. But Sega cutting half of their release slate is a massive thing.
Yeah,
like
you're losing literally half your income by doing that because you're not releasing what you thought you were going to, and it's going to cost these companies time and time again. Like if things aren't ready, don't put it out. But at some point, they're going to wonder about like where's that money going to come from if we can't start producing what we want or where we need to be, unfortunately.
Exactly. And there's other games that obviously Gran Turismo 7 was delayed. I know that's not them, but that's obviously been delayed. Destiny's next expansion, The Witch Queen, has been delayed. Like it is just a daily thing now of games being delayed. And for Sega to lose half, obviously they'll get released at some point, but that's going to have a huge impact on their share price because it's going to be at the end of the fiscal year. They're not going to have that income. It's going to roll into the next fiscal year. So it's going to have massive effects on them. And Sega are obviously a company that always kind of floating around. Are they going to be bought out? Is someone going to buy Sega? Next year it might happen because they're not going to have the strongest hand to deal with. And you could see someone like Xbox swooping in and buying up Sega or PlayStation. Really, either of them could.
I could really see either of them doing it.
Yeah, I don't think it leans more one way or the other, but it's just another one of them where you hate to see it because all these delays also has a secondary impact is they're going to bottleneck.
Yeah,
they're all getting delayed, and then they're all going to have to release. And if they're not getting released in this fiscal year, they will damn well get released in the next fiscal year, which means even though we're going to be barren, when we get to this time in 2022 or 2022, when as I like to say, it's going to be mayhem. Like it'll be a game released every day at this rate because they're going to have to get it in before the end of March.
Yeah, because you're going to see them want to at least put something out to recoup some of the costs for stuff that didn't. So it's going to be incredible. Your backlog's obviously going to grow. I know mine. I've been trying to scrimp through a little bit since we haven't been having any major releases. But I can only imagine what's going to be like when that dam finally breaks on game releases. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. A company that doesn't mind not releasing their games and just decides to cancel them after 6 years in development. EA. This is also over at gamesindustry.biz. They've had a busy day. This is by Marie Dealessandri, and it says EA reportedly cancelled Motive's Gaia after 6 years in development. The new IP was teased last year and had been through a turbulent development journey. It goes on to say Electronic Arts has reportedly cancelled a project codenamed Gaia that had been in development for the past 6 years at its Motive studio. According to Bloomberg, the cancellation of the new IP was due to a resource shift after the company reviews projects currently in development. This follows the announcement that another EA studio, Bioware, will be stopping work on Anthem. So this goes on and on and talks about it. But yeah, obviously EA decided Bioware have stopped working on Anthem Next, as it was codenamed, which I think is the right decision.
Yeah,
because I think those resources can be used elsewhere. It's a shame because I know some people really liked Anthem. I know you said you really enjoyed actually playing the game. The gameplay you found quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I even went back and played it after on one of the podcasts. You said you went back and tried it.
Yeah.
I went back and played like a level myself, and I still really enjoyed it. I felt like the gameplay was very fluid. It's just a shame that like when you first start up a level, it searches for players to join your party,
Yeah.
and there was nobody
Yeah.
playing,
Yeah, it was a dead game.
which is so unfortunate because it had so much potential that I would have liked to see it maybe get a new breath of fresh air, but it's way too late, and EA probably made the right decision to move those employees over to working on Dragon Age and Mass Effect to try and make those games as good as possible.
Yeah. And I'm a big Mass Effect fan, so
Mhm.
any resources that they're putting into Mass Effect, I'm happy with. It's
Oh,
just a
absolutely.
shame that it comes off another game being shut down, because it's always nice to have a new IP, especially from a
Oh,
company like
yeah.
EA. It's going to be a AAA usually, you'd think, but and I know it says further on in the interview, which was from, I believe, 2018, in an interview with IGN at the time, EA's then executive vice president Patrick Soderlund touched upon EA's wish to expand its portfolio with gigantic action games like Assassin's Creed or Batman or GTA, and hinted at Motive as the studio to tackling the challenge. It is believed Gaia was the IP in question there. So it looked like this was going to be a big AAA game. And if it's been 6
Mhm.
years in development, it's going to be a beefy game. You know, they're not going to come
Oh,
out
for
with
sure.
a smaller, like unraveled, style game that they also
Sure.
like to do. There's been a lot going on at Motive, obviously, especially in 2018. Gaia was rebooted and basically started again.
Oh,
It was
that's
merged with
scary.
Bioware in 2017. There was cultural clashes that made Jade Raymond leave in October that year. Obviously, she went on to go. I think, was it Stadia? She was just at.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
then
think it was Stadia.
yeah, I think she ended up at Stadia. I don't know if that move was directly from there to there, but um, and then it was introduced to the public at the EA Play in June 2020, where it was presented as a highly ambitious, innovative new game that puts the power and creativity in your own hands, and an experience that would have been impossible without next gen technology. But it is
Shame.
no more. It is no more. And it is a shame. Like, and EA are starting to get a little, well, they've always had a bit of a reputation, but
Mhm.
nothing's ever guaranteed with EA now.
No.
They're pulling the plug on things, which, and BioWare's obviously taking the brunt of it at the moment, but they've had a bit of an unlucky run. But obviously, Mass Effect is their Hail Mary,
Yeah.
basically. If they can make a good Mass Effect game, um,
Mhm.
they're back in it.
I hope
That's,
so.
yeah.
So I got
We'll
really
have,
excited watching that Mass Effect trailer and then looking at the Legendary Edition that's about to come out. And
mm-hmm.
I haven't been this excited for a Mass Effect game since, when
Three.
we first started seeing 3.
Yeah.
So I hope it's as good as they claim it's going to be.
Yeah. And, if it goes, if they spend the time and
Mhm.
put the right resources into it, then it has every right to be a great game. And
Oh, yeah.
BioWare obviously know how to make a good Mass Effect game. Now let's just hope there's not too much meddling and changing and politics in the company that let it happen.
Yeah.
But it's one
Fingers
of those,
crossed on
isn't it?
that one.
Controversies between companies and stuff like that are always happening in every wake of life. But in gaming, it just seems to be a bit more prevalent at the moment, which does
Yeah.
actually lead us on to our next story. Like, look at these segues. You'd be proud, Vince. Like
Yeah.
now,
Top notch.
this is from IGN, and this is about a game that came out. I can't remember when this game actually came out, but it was a while ago, called The Sinking City. And it was developed by Frogwares, who you might know, they did like the Sherlock Holmes games. Um, they've done a few other games as well. But anyway, there's a bit of a backstory to this, but I'll read the title first. The Sinking City's developer Frogwares says to not buy the game on Steam. So
Wow.
yeah, So basically, this is written by Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. The Sinking City has returned to Steam following its removal across multiple digital platforms, but developer Frogwares has said it did not create this version and that it does not recommend that anyone purchases it. Frogwares took to Twitter to share this update, promising that more news will be on its way soon regarding this warning. They said on Twitter, Frogwares has not created this version of the Sinking City that is today on sale on Steam. We do not recommend the purchase of this version. More news soon. So if we go down a little bit, Frogwares began a legal battle with Big Ben and Nakon in August 2019 over issues that they had, which were basically during the development of Sinking City. Frogware alleged that Big Ben and Nakon would pay for the production milestones around 40 days later than agreed upon. Furthermore, these companies demanded that they be given the source code for the Sinking City, despite their agreement saying that they could only sell the game and they did not own the IP. When Frogware declined this, they said that Big Ben and Nakon stopped providing payments for 4 months.
Wow.
And yet it goes on. The Sinking City, which was inspired by the works of horror writer H.P. Lovecraft, was released in 2019. It looks like a really interesting game. I slept on it really when it came out, but it's a lot to unpack from this.
Yeah, it really is.
And obviously the reason that it was removed from Steam, the Epic Games Store, the Xbox, and the PlayStation digital storefronts in 2020 of August of last year was because of these legal disputes with the publishers. So, and now it's been coming back, and it looks like Big Ben and Nikon have either published it themselves or they've published it themselves without the blessing of Frogwares. So, yeah, unpack this, Vince.
Oh, where to even begin? Like, first of all, pay people for their work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't go without paying your developers for 4 months.
Not at all.
For putting out a game that you're still slapping their name on and putting up for sale.
Yeah.
And it's insane, right? Because they made this game, Big Ben and the other company put it up for sale. It's not the game they had envisioned. So they wanted it, basically removed from sale? Well, no, that's where it gets a bit muddled, right?
Yeah, so the reason it was removed from sale is because Big Ben and Nikon weren't paying them. And they wanted the source codes so they could own the IP. And Frogware said, no, that wasn't our deal. You don't get the source code. We own the IP. You're publishing. We're developing.
Right.
And that's why it was taken off, because of this legal dispute. And
which is
something happened.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, because if you have a smaller developer coming to a publisher and basically saying like, hey, help us put this game out there, you're not going to want to sign a deal for them to have ownership of your source code and your game, right?
No.
Like that's where it gets really weird. And for them to basically just tell them that, hey, we own your source code.
Yeah.
Fuck off, basically. We own your IP that you developed and you came up with.
Thanks for all the hard work. We'll make all the
really
money now.
shitty.
And we'll sell the sequel to the highest bidder.
Could you imagine if like PlayStation took the source code for God of War away from Sony Santa Monica and gave it to someone else? That just doesn't happen.
Like, no. And I don't understand. How this has happened. Like, so far they've withheld over 1 million euros in royalties, and they've falsely implied ownership of the IP and more. Apparently, I don't know what the more is, but it says and more. So this is
€1 million.
Yeah, €1 million
for a
in
small
royalties.
Company.
I know. Yeah, and imagine how many people they've got to pay that have made this game. Games aren't made by 2 people. Well, some are, but this isn't.
Yeah.
Like, there will be more to this because there's going to be updates as it comes on, and I think we'll have to come back to this one because I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon.
Oh no, this is definitely like will have huge ramifications going forward for pretty much the publisher itself.
Yeah,
Because if
definitely.
they've done it with this company, who's to say they haven't tried to do it with other companies? I feel like a lot of dirt
Exactly.
might have to come out from this.
Yeah. But listen, we've gone down the doom and gloom of Sunday's gaming news. I think
Yeah.
it's time. You know, this is a news channel, but it's time we give the people what they really want, which is
Oh,
the
of course.
Sunday Funday challenge. And
Uh,
Vince,
yes.
you did okay last week. I'll give
Okay.
you
Yeah.
I'll give you a 7.5 out of 10. You
That's
know,
fair.
needed some hints, but you got most of the way there in the
Yeah.
end. We're gonna stick with obviously games.
Of course.
And what we're gonna go to Game of the Year winners
Oh wow. Game of the year winners.
from the Game Awards. So they
Okay.
started in 2014.
Oh Jesus.
So you have seven
7.
Game of the Year winners. You
Okay.
have your baseball rules, 3 strikes and you're out.
Right.
With the added, obviously, there's no way of getting points back for this one because
Right.
you'll be able to work out the dates. So whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, first one was pretty obvious. Last year's was The Last of Us Part 2.
Correct.
That one Game of the Year. I also know Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, won Game of the Year for 2018, I believe. No. Was it 2019? Did it win 2019?
2019.
Yes.
I'll let you
it won
get away with that one. COVID makes the years a bit blurry.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sure
2019 was Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. 2020 Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2.
Are you doing these chronologically? Are you working your way
I was
backwards?
hoping not. Those were the only two I was absolutely for sure about. Obviously. Well, no. Breath of the Wild, I think, probably won 2017, right?
Correct. Yeah. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, 2017. So there's 2018 missing in between those.
2018 missing. And I want to say that one was God of War. Was 2018?
I tell you what, Vince, you are flying 4 for 4. Well, now I think it gets really hard.
Yeah, because past 2017, ooh, it's gonna be tough. So I've got what 2014, 2015, and 2016.
You've got the first 3 years of the Game Awards.
That's where my memory of those years it gets real foggy. Because again, 2016, I'll only really remember Doom, Titanfall 2, and wasn't Uncharted 4 that year?
I think it was that year, but it didn't win.
Was that year?
It
didn't win. That's surprising because that one was pretty good. Yeah, there goes kind of my limited knowledge of that. The only thing I remember from that Game Awards was that they did the Doom soundtrack live, and that was incredible to watch.
Oh yeah,
man,
but what won?
What won? 2015 is a bit even more blurrier, and so is 2014.
Yeah,
I barely remember what came out that year in games. Those 2 years,
it all blurs in.
It really does. So what else came out in 2016 that was better than Uncharted 4 for some reason?
Well, nothing. But this game, in my opinion, but this game won anyway. A very popular game that's still played today a lot.
Still played today a lot. Is it Fortnite?
No, it's not Fortnite. But that is a very clever guess, and you're not far off the mark. So, well, you kind of. It's a very online multiplayer sort of game. So that's strike one anyway. Oh, there goes my camera. It's a pulled by your decision.
It was online multiplayer game in 2015 or 2016. 2016. No, not Destiny 2, is it?
Nope, that's strike 2.
I didn't think so. But yeah, Destiny 2 came out that year, right? Or no?
I'm not sure. Destiny and Destiny 2 weren't really my remit.
So the only other things I can think of with online multiplayer games would be Call of Duty, and there's no way Call of Duty is better than Uncharted 4. Absolutely not.
No.
My mind also goes to PUBG for some reason, but I don't know when that game came out, and I don't think it picked up popularity then. Well, if Fortnite was out around that time.
Well, Fortnite was a bit of a sleeper at first. It didn't. I don't think it was an instant hit.
It didn't find its way until.
I'll give you one little hint because you're down to your last life. That this game inspired quite a few cosplays.
Inspired cosplays. Oh, Overwatch, right?
There we go. So Overwatch in 2016.
2016. Man, I keep forgetting about that game. I used to really love it, but now I'm just so far out of it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. So Overwatch is 2016. So you've had The Last of Us Part 2 2020, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice 2019, God of War 2018, The Legend of Zelda 2017, Overwatch 2016. What was 2015 and 2014?
2015 and 2014. Down to one last life. Ooh. Again, do not remember any games that came out those years.
The game that came out in 2015, I thought had been out for about 10 years. So I don't know how that it just seems to have been around forever. But in this,
can you give me the platform it came out on?
I can. I think it pretty much came out on everything.
Oh wow. Yikes.
I can give you a little bit of a clue that I can't tell you the developer because that'll give it away very easily. But this game is almost as notorious as Skyrim for coming out on everything, even years after it's been released.
That makes me think GTA.
No, I was going to say it's not GTA. Yeah. It's not GTA.
Came out on everything.
And it keeps getting released.
Still getting released to this day. Not Skyrim.
Maybe last year was its last release. But yeah, still very recently it keeps.
That's really got me scratching my head. Keeps coming out almost as notorious as Skyrim. Sure isn't Fallout.
No. I won't count that as a guess.
Yeah. Because they don't keep releasing Fallout. It just keeps coming out.
The studio is synonymous basically with 2 games. And that's it. Two games franchises, 2 games. This one is a franchise. So there's been more than one. And this is the 3rd one that you're trying to guess.
3rd one in 2015. Dragon Age Inquisition.
That is 2014's game of the year.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, I'll take that. I'll take that free one.
Don't know how you pulled that one out of the bag with BioWare and Electronic Arts in 2014, but 2015.
2015.
One life left. Can you do a clean sweep?
Well, the thing that made me think Dragon Age was Inquisition was the 3rd in the franchise.
Yeah.
You know, BioWare for Mass Effect and Dragon Age. So that kind of settled that one. Glad I said it because I had no idea. Oh, wow.
So what is?
Keeps being re-released.
Yeah.
Last version came out last year?
Or maybe the year before. It was pre-COVID.
Okay, it came out pre-COVID.
And I believe that was the Switch.
On the Switch.
I believe that was the last thing it's been released on. Unless it got released on Stadia as well, which should have been about the same time. But yes, I know it's definitely been released on Switch.
Well, I don't know why I'm thinking Cuphead, but I don't think that's right at all either. Plus, I couldn't
tell you another game that they have made.
Right. They've got 2 big franchises.
It's a big studio as well. Like you'll know the studio as well. You definitely have heard of the studio.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
it's definitely
not always for the best reasons have you heard of this studio.
No, that makes me think EA.
We've just had EA.
We've just had EA with
they're all different studios.
Now that makes me think Ubisoft, but
We
then they're
haven't had a
not two
Ubisoft game.
giant titles.
No, they've got about 50.
Yeah, they've got a dozen. There's like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Ghost Recon. Put out a Splinter Cell game for the love of God, please.
I know, yeah, please. That's all I want. I just want a
Yeah.
good Splinter Cell. I don't want him appearing in Wildlands because I know he was in that one. I don't know if he was in Breaking Point or Breakpoint because nobody played that. Yeah, no.
You know what?
Just want.
I think I'm gonna have to go with it, just because I think I know what it is.
Go on then.
I'm gonna go ahead and lock in my answer.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3.
Oh, you were so close to doing this clean sweep, but that's not it. The answer is The Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3, of course.
Wild Hunt.
I forgot they came out. Yeah, they do keep releasing that, don't they?
Oh, on everything, all the time. It's like, here's Geralt, here's Geralt, here's Geralt. And they're only really known for The Witcher and Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I know they have done other things, I think. Yeah. They must have.
I'm sure, right?
Yeah. But you know what? 6 out of 7, and you nailed the first 4.
Yeah.
In basically bang, bang, bang. Overwatch stumbled you a little bit. You pulled Dragon Age at the wrong time and got that one.
Yeah.
Like you did the old switcheroo on that, and then you didn't quite get it to Witcher 3.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because next Sunday there'll be another challenge and another chance for you to redeem yourself.
Oh, absolutely exciting.
We're going to be looking at the best games of 1977, and no,
I have no idea. Space Invaders,
maybe Pong. I don't know. Yeah,
maybe. Did any games even come out in 1977? Now I'm curious.
He's off on one. Let's see what comes out in.
Let's see.
This is where you need Terry.
Oh, for sure.
The Retro King.
Oh, we've got 1977.
Yeah.
Combat, Space Wars, Air Sea Battle, Indy 500, Video Olympics, Street Racer. Bunch of stuff I've never heard of.
I'm sure half of these have been bought by EA to be remade, only to be cancelled.
Oh, Coleco. That makes sense.
ColecoVision.
Right. That makes sense. No wonder I've never heard of them.
Well, it probably won't be what we talk about next Sunday.
Hopefully not.
But yeah, guys, that's been another news break. The last one for us to record this week, the first one you see this week. Could be some news coming out this week. Maybe Bethesda are going to announce that they're doing a show. There's a lot of rumors circulating about this, so we might have a live reacts coming up at any moment. We don't know. Yeah. Obviously, you'll get all your news breaks this week, and you'll get the podcasts. So stick around, enjoy it. But Vince, thank you for joining me on Sunday.
Oh, pleasure as always. I love these games.
Oh, they're so much fun. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Stay shifty. Bye-bye.